All right. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to change a tire on a vehicle, um, explain how to change the tire when your vehicle gets a flat on the road or in the driveway. If you're on the freeway and your tire blows out, you may not have time to wait for somebody to come help you. So if you want to be able to change that tire yourself, which is actually pretty simple, um, then that way you can get back on the road quicker and not have to wait for somebody to come pick you up. The first main thing is safety. You want to make sure that the vehicle is pulled off the side of the road in a safe location, of course. Try not to drive too long on the tire because you will ruin the rim, and make sure you try to get it in a level spot. And then most important, you want to make sure that you block your tires, or have it in park, your emergency brake on, some way to prevent it from rolling. And then you want to make sure that you have a flathead screwdriver for your tools. You want to make sure that you have a jack, that you have a lug nut wrench, and of course your spare tire. And so in the process of making sure everything is safe, you will then go ahead and take the flathead screwdriver. If your rims hubcaps are ones that you need to pop the hubcap off prior to getting to your lug nuts, then you'll use your flathead screwdriver for that. If your rims are ones that the lug nuts are actually what hold the hubcap on, then you're going to want to go ahead and leave that as is until you get your jack safely in place. So that's what the flathead screwdriver will be for, is to remove the hubcaps pending that they aren't held on by the lug nuts. At that point, you want to go ahead and get your jack situated. One of my visual aids that I've printed off here is a picture of where you should place your jack so you can safely lift the vehicle up. If you're changing just the driver's side front tire, then of course you don't need to lift the entire vehicle up. It would just be your driver's side front end. In that place, you would put the jack in a different spot than what you would if you were lifting the entire front end. So this is a picture that I have, and it shows you the red area is the preferred destination of where they want the jack put, and you can see the red areas. That's the preferred location. Your green is your optional location, where you can also lift it at. And then you have the blue, which is the frame area, and up in here. And most people will lift it from the pinch point, is what it's called, where the metal welding is on the frame area, to get, whether it be your rear tire or your front tire. So that's the visual aid on where to place the jack for your pinch point, and that way you're safely raising the car without doing any damage to it. What you want to do is you want to jack the car up just enough to where the tires are still on the ground, but that you can make sure that you're safe in lifting it where you're at. When you're safe and you're lifting the car up, make sure, like I said, that the tires don't come off the ground until you have your lug nut wrench and you are actually starting to loosen your lug nut. Otherwise, if your tire is off the ground, then you spin the tire. So have the tire touching the ground and then start to just barely loosen the lug nuts. Don't undo them all the way. Just loosen them up so that when you get the car up off the ground, you're able to turn the lug nuts without the tire spinning. Once you've broke the lug nuts free and you've got the jack under there, obviously, you go ahead and lift the car up at that point, remove the lug nuts the rest of the way, and take your tire off. And then, of course, you'll have your spare tire, and you'll go ahead and place your spare tire on there. One of the important things that I've learned is that you need to make sure when you're putting your lug nuts back on that you have the tapered end towards the rim. Some of the older lug nuts weren't capped off on the top, and so you had the stud on the tire could go all the way through. So you want to make sure you have the tapered end in and not with it pointed out. I have another demonstration of a picture of a lug nut that is a closed cap end that it is easy to tell, obviously, which way to put this lug nut on the tire. But some of these lug nuts did not have the capped end, so they had an open end. So in this picture, you can see where the lug nut has the tapered end where it narrows down. Like I say, some lug nuts don't have the cap at the top and it's just open and it's a square end. So if this was basically cut off at the top here and it was just an open end, you want to make sure you get this tapered end in towards the rim because it can definitely break off your stud if you have it the other way. So that's really important. Once you've put the spare tire back on and you've got your lug nuts placed on there properly, then you want to go ahead and tighten them down as much as you can prior to setting the vehicle back down. The tire will spin as you try to tighten them, but try to get them as tight as you can. And then when you lower the car back down to the ground, you want to make sure you're just barely touching the tire on the ground again so that you are able to tighten those lug nuts the rest of the way prior to putting all the weight on the car. So we went through the safety, we went through going over what tools you need and the steps to go ahead and do it. Again, you need to make sure that safety is always top priority because the car can fall on you or roll away. Just making sure that you've got everything ready to go prior to doing it. Once you've got all your safety factors done, your wheels chopped or blocked, then lifting the car up and taking the tire off isn't too awfully difficult. So being able to change your own tire versus calling somebody to come help you out is a really important talent to have to be able to do with your own vehicle. So like I say, if you're running to work and you got a flat tire, you're able to know the steps on changing the tire.